Welcome back. You're watching News Tonight. Lewis Hamilton, of course, was in town and he did rev it up in the city, burn some tires as well. Our reporter Natasha was there and caught up with him. Listen in.
The youngest world champion, a definite Speedy Gonzalez, and he just burnt his tires back at the Chennai circuit, of course. And yes, we are talking about the Lewis Hamilton. Thank you so much for talking to us, Lewis.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Now, let's start off with your personal side, of course. Your dad has been a huge part of your success story and your manager right from your childhood. So how are you dealing with the fact that he's not really around as much as he was before?
Well, my dad has played a huge role in my life, as he does, as every father does. But obviously, my dad has played a key role in my career. Without him, I wouldn't be here today. And I think what's always important is to always remember that. Just because he's not my manager now and he's not hands-on, it doesn't mean that we can't still enjoy the achievements together. So it's a slightly different experience this year, but I've enjoyed it. I'm becoming my own man, and I want to make my own decisions and do things without your dad constantly watching over you a little bit. So it's been a good experience, and I think it's been good for him as well, because he's always worrying about me and always focusing so much on me. He's taking a lot more time for himself this year. So I'm hoping it's all for a good cause and all in a positive direction.
Okay, possibly. All right. The animal would probably get that one then.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of Karan Chandok, of course, he's our Indian star here. Now, do you think he made a bad choice with HRT Hispania, or do you think he's had a good start, really, for a rookie?
I think when you have an opportunity, you have to grab it with both hands. And there's not that many opportunities. There's only 24 of us now in Formula One. So when there's a seat available, you take it. And so I think it was the right choice. I think whilst he was prepared, maybe the team was slightly less prepared for the steep learning curve that they had ahead of them. And so I think the team have done not as good a job as perhaps the drivers have done. So it's been tough. If you don't have the package beneath you, it's difficult to show your ultimate pace. But I think he's done a great job, and he's very much well liked in the whole paddock by all the drivers. He gets along with everyone, and so I'm hoping that in the next coming races, or definitely going into next year, you may have an opportunity in a much better team, hopefully.
All right. Thank you so much, Lewis, for talking to us. You answered all those questions absolutely fantastic. So you did really well. Cheers. And I'm sure your presence here in India will definitely boost Indian motorsport. Thanks so much for talking to us.
Thank you very much.
Well, if there was a time, in fact, in Chennai, when the women of Chennai were considered conservative and docile, now, of course, all that is set to change. And guess how? Well, the army way, because it's a Chennai girl who will be presented the Sword of Honor this coming Saturday by, in fact, the Indian Army at the Officers Training Academy. Evelyn Matthew brings us this report.
From a commoner of a BCom graduate a few years ago, the Academy under officer now, to the first woman in the history of the Indian Army to be selected for the Sword of Honor, Chennai girl Divya Ajit has always been the lass with a glint in her eye. This time, she beat 244 fellow gentlemen and lady cadets to it. And mind you, with no background of army in her bloodline.
My choice was to anyway join some kind of services. It would have been the civil services if not the army. So they had that in mind that I am going to be in some kind of uniform. They didn't take it as pretty much a shock or anything. They were fine with it.
But don't let the ladies' smile deceive you. Be it academics, drills, endurance or sports, she's ensured she drums up success with every bead of sweat and dedication she's put her heart into.
I know wherever she goes, she puts her best. And she says, I want to get the best. So I think she's got it.
As the 21-year-old gets set, on her mark and ready to slap her rifle butts when the prestigious Sword of Honor reaches her hand, she salutes the 11 months of training at her home ground, the Officers Training Academy, one that she has only words of honor for. In Chennai, Evelyn Matthew for NDTV Hindu.
Well, that's a wrap on this bulletin. News and updates continue. Stay with us.